Well, good evening, everybody. It is that time again. Welcome to Power Hour. I am Veronica Valentino, coming to you from Philadelphia, along with my co-host, Renee Rand, coming to us from Las Vegas. And this evening, we are so excited with another fabulous topic. If you're new here, we are so thrilled you took the time out of your schedule to join us. So, this community is all about empowerment, encouragement, and elevation. So, jump in, say hello, don't be shy. We can't wait to get to know all of you. At this time, Miss Renee is going to enlighten us about our upcoming events and how to get in touch with us. So,
Oh, we,
be sure to like, share, follow, and subscribe. And our link is below. Miss Renee.
yes, and our 800 number is 877-776-3985. Or you can get to us on social media or anywhere else you'd like to connect with us. We have a great topic this week, which is, of course, all about willpower. And it's not willpower. Why is your weight so hard to get lose weight over time? So we're going to be talking about that with our special guest today, and we already have some questions from our group. So as we're building our group, and we have about 835 ladies in our community now, it's been very exciting, and of course we do want to continue growing that group. So we've decided that we're going to go live daily at 3 p.m. Pacific time for about 5 to 10 to 15 minutes, depending on what the topic is and what we're going to be talking about that day. So we're going to be checking in with you a whole lot more often, and it's going to be a lot of fun. And we're really excited about that.
Thank you for your excitement. I share that with Renee. As Renee mentioned, tonight's topic, it's not willpower, why weight loss gets harder over time. And we are very excited to welcome our special guest. It's my absolute honor to introduce and work alongside an extraordinary leader. He is a clinical nutritionist, a researcher. He's a best-selling author and international speaker. He currently serves on several national boards, including the Presidential Task Force on Obesity and the Health and Product Advisory Board for Zeno. So over the next 30 minutes, Robert is going to take us deep into science. It's not willpower, why weight loss gets harder over time. And without further ado, Mr. Robert Ferguson.
All right. Well, good to be here. I'm digging the format. So this is how we're going to be the whole time.
Yeah.
All right. So we have balance, oil, front and center.
Center.
Unless you have something you want to share.
Oh no, I'm just checking out the whole format.
Let's see. Here, we can do this.
Oh, how cool! Look at you go. This is great.
All right. Here, so I'm wondering if. Okay. Here. Oops. Hold on.
She's playing with different formats. And you know what's cool about these formats is that you can, when you're moderating, right, you can literally move people as you're talking. So for instance, when I have this format, I'll do something like that, right? And you can have some fun with it. But anyway, I'm just digging it. I like the pink. I like all of that. I love the cool code right there. So if somebody's watching this on their television, they can take a picture of that QR code and boom, they're in the game.
They're set.
But good to be here, and thank you guys for having me on. It's definitely a topic that I love discussing. So where do you guys want to start?
Well, we have some questions already.
Okay.
Last few days, I've thrown it out there in some of our groups, and I came back with, I had 4 questions that came up, so I thought we'd throw those in the mix for today. The first one is from Kathy, and she says, why has weight loss become so difficult for her since she turned 50?
Well, you know what? That's a big part of the article that I wrote, getting into like how the body changes over time. So I'll answer that question, but I'll give a preface on kind of where I believe the conversation is going to go. And that is, we start off with willpower, right? And willpower to me is that thing that we tend to count on that's going to help us stay disciplined, help us like quiet that voice that keeps urging us to eat certain things that aren't helping us. But willpower, I can just see it through. And I don't believe that it really comes down to willpower. I believe a lot of it, as we mature in time, comes down to understanding human anatomy, the biology, how the body changes, right? And so with the lady who's 50, depending on how many times she's done a diet over the years, and if she didn't lose the weight in a way where she was protecting her skeletal muscle, what happens over time is when you gain that weight back, your body fat percentage goes up a little bit more. So let's say that you're 200 pounds when you first start losing weight. And let's say you're 30 years old and you lose the weight, 50 pounds is gone. You're feeling great. But over the next 5, 6, 7 years, you gain that weight back. Now, when you're back to 200 pounds, like you were 5 or 7 years earlier, your body fat percentage now is much higher because you had less skeletal muscle.
Okay.
And when you have less skeletal muscle, your body doesn't burn the same amount of energy. So every time you lose weight and gain it back, you're giving up some skeletal muscle, which means you're slowing or lowering how many calories your body burns naturally.
Okay.
And so if you have someone who's yo-yoed many times over their life, that the main reason why they have a much harder time losing weight the 5th, 6th time as they've matured in life is because they have less skeletal muscle.
Gotcha. Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And it's a very easy thing to track and to monitor. The challenge is that, you know, not everybody wants to be a scientist, right? And not everybody wants to understand it like a scientist. But if you remember a guy named Covert Bailey, you guys remember that name?
Don't recognize it.
So Covert Bailey wrote a series of books called Fit or Fat. And he was all about skeletal muscle, like all about it. I believe he's still alive. I'm thinking he's in his early 90s. And eventually, you know, like everyone, he retired and is no longer writing books. But I remember once flipping through the channels and saw him in an infomercial. And in the infomercial, he's talking about how slow weight loss is best because you want to preserve your skeletal muscle. Right?
Okay.
Then I remember flipping the channel and there was Dr. Atkins. And he's talking about losing weight and eating, you know, cheese and eggs and steak and bacon, right? And I remember turning back going, okay, who's going to watch Covert Bailey talk about losing weight slower so you can preserve your skeletal muscle? You're watching that, and then you turn the channel and I can eat all of that. I would rather like lose weight the way Dr. Atkins was saying it. And so the lure pulls us away from sometimes doing what is best for our body.
Right.
So it's not like it's new information, but that's one of the main reasons people have a harder time dropping weight as they get older. And the modern day thing, in addition to that, would be insulin resistance. I would say almost every woman walking on the planet, especially in the United States, Canada, and Mexico, is living with some level of insulin resistance. And that stops your ability to lose weight.
Wow. Well, you know, it's interesting because when I ask questions about this topic, I got different, very different questions from different people. And in fact, I was surprised it wasn't more consistent about just having a hard time losing weight. The next gal that's gave me a question, her name's Karen. She said her clothes have always felt the same on her body until she got to menopause. Now she feels bloated and everything feels too small, and her weight has stayed the same over all this time. But do you have any ideas of why that would be happening?
So she's saying that her weight is basically the same, but her clothes are bigger.
No, they're
right?
tighter. They're
Okay,
tighter.
right.
She
So
feels bloated. She
okay,
feels her clothes are much tighter, but her weight has stayed the same.
okay. So that's an example of someone who's gained body fat, lost skeletal muscle,
Okay.
and their weight is the exact same. So her metabolism has slowed. She probably has to eat a little less than she used to eat to keep her weight where it is, but she's different, right? She has less skeletal muscle. She has more body fat. And even though on the scale, her weight's the same. And the easy way to get a visual of this is that skeletal muscle takes up less space than fat. It's kind of like you'll hear a lot of people share something that's not true, and they'll say that muscle weighs more than fat. Muscle does not weigh more than fat. Muscle is more dense than fat. So if my fist was 1 pound of muscle, I would need 5 to 6 fists to be 1 pound of fat. So fat takes up more space, right?
All right,
fat
that makes
takes
sense.
Up more space. Yep. So her composition has changed, even though her weight is the same. That's why the weight on the scale is not our friend.
Right.
It's not. It just tells you what your weight is. It doesn't tell you what your fat-free mass is or what your lean body mass is, which those two things are completely different. It's just telling you what your weight is, right? Because if you had a wig on that weighed 3 pounds and you step on the scale and you forgot that you have a 3 pound wig on, guess what? 3 pounds of that weight on the scale is from the wig.
Right.
Which would be part of what
I hate weighing anyway, so I don't ever weigh at home. I totally, I'll weigh when I go to the doctor's office and they make me. That's about it. I don't want to know. I can tell by how my clothes fit what's going on with my body most of the time.
Right. And that's
that
a
makes
great
sense. That's really interesting.
Yeah. And it's factual. I mean, it is what it is, right? That's like the hardcore truth. And so, like, for instance, Veronica just did the 6-day detox drop, right? And I believe you said you're down 7 pounds on the scale.
7 pounds, yes.
Now, she ate 3 meals a day, and each one of those meals had an adequate amount of protein.
Right.
Well, just because she's getting an adequate amount of protein, that was done on purpose to help preserve her skeletal muscle. So the weight loss is not just water weight. That the weight loss is primarily fat that she got rid of.
Love it.
Yeah. So you want to lose the right type of weight and not just weight on the scale.
Boy, that makes so much sense.
Speaking of that 6-day detox, can you do that more than 6 days? Is it required? Should it be done? Maybe every 3 months? What would you suggest?
I recommend we detox every quarter, like go with seasons. That's a great way to detox. And when people hear detox, like everyone's mind is thinking something completely different, right? Because we're not drinking something and assuming that what we drink or what we consume is going to flush out toxins. What we're doing in the detox is giving our body an opportunity to do what it naturally does. And when that happens, the body will produce certain antioxidants in the body that will get rid of metals and get rid of toxins and get rid of aluminums. So we feed the body in a way where the body will naturally detox the stuff we don't want. So then you don't feel as bloated. You have a new sense of energy. Some of the brain fog goes away, and you're like on your way, man. And that's why you feel so good after you do it. But in answer to your question, I had a lady once. She started out at 449 pounds at 5'9.5", and she got down to 170 pounds.
Wow.
And part of her success, you guys, is every 21 days she would do a detox. She would do the 6-day detox. because it helped her avoid getting those cravings back. It gave her that added structure. So she would go detox drop 6 days, 21 days, no detox drop, and just kind of follow the routine. You could still eat the same meals and all that stuff, right? And then she did the detox again. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, so a person can do it as often as they want. I would recommend that, quarterly, I think is great. I do have a 30-day supplement blend that is exactly like the first 3 days is exactly the way it is with the detox. And then after that, it works the same for the next 27 days. So it's like a monthly supply for people who actually really like the supplements.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, cool. All right.
I really love the fact that, I started reading, and I also picked up that book that you read in 48 hours. But I love the fact that I take the balance oil and adding the apple cider vinegar. I just thought that one blew me out of the water. And it was just a different way of how you did it, at a certain time after you wake up and getting your whole body started. I love that. And I'll tell you what, I feel like it changed something in me. So I was like 100%, man. If anybody wants to do this, they should get on this right away.
Nice. Yeah. It's funny. Like I begin every day with the balanced oil and my apple cider vinegar with the mother. Because
you do them together?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. And the main reason why, like, I keep kimchi in my house as a fermented food, but apple cider vinegar is also a fermented food.
Yeah.
And when you look at the gut, like I'm writing an article on this, and I highlight a certain bacteria inside of our gut that is created in our gut, but you need to have a good amount of fiber that you consume, right. Specifically prebiotics, and you want some fermented food. And when you have fermented food coming in with the prebiotics and like the fiber, then our gut will produce certain bacteria that we know scientifically as a fact will get metals out of our system.
Wow,
the body will detox itself if you produce the things that help to bind to these metals and eliminate those metals out of your body.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
That's amazing.
The way to go
Right,
if you want to jumpstart your diet. Go ahead. Next question, Renee.
All right. Next question is from Samantha. She said, is there a drastic difference to what kind of diet so that I should be doing during menopause to continue to being able to lose weight? Well, obviously, yes, right?
Yeah. Well, one, I mean, it can be difficult talking about balance oil, but it's a great product. It's food based. It has 2 amazing prebiotics in it that help with gut health, and gut health contributes toward overall health. And you're helping to improve signaling between cells, which means better efficiency with hormones. So I can't imagine a person who's going through menopause, no matter what the stage is, without taking advantage of being in balance, right. Cutting down on the inflammation in the body. That's going to help everything work better. Right? Because when you have low-grade chronic inflammation and the cells aren't communicating very well, which is most people, then you're going to have some people have horrible experiences with menopause.
Right.
And they could actually calm that if they approach life where they're not in a inflammatory state.
Yeah, all the time.
And get their body in an anti-inflammatory state, which is ideal. And we literally have a test, right, where people can see where they are, and then they can see that it's actually improving. And then as a result, lower inflammation, like with epilepsy. I talked to Alyssa earlier today, and she's saying that at this point, she's not experiencing as many seizures.
Right.
because
Oh,
she's
that's
in
so
a,
awesome.
you know what I mean? Like she's in an anti-inflammatory state,
Right.
and she's
Right.
doing all
Right.
the things that calm inflammation. That's a win.
Yeah.
That's a huge win. That's
Mhm.
fabulous. It really is. All right, another question from Berta. Berta says, I've always done the keto diet and lost really easy, but now it doesn't work for me anymore. Is there any reason why? Well, kind of about all the stuff we just talked about.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, because when you do keto, right, and every time you do some of these diets, when you avoid food groups, you're setting yourself up for some negatives. When you do keto, yes, you can lose weight, but you're becoming more, your body gets into more of an inflammatory state instead of an anti-inflammatory state. And the keto people get upset with that, but the reality is the reality, because we could do a test. And every time you do these drops, even if it was keto, your body is different than it was the last time you did that. So we gotta like look at where you are and put you on a plan that's gonna help you get to where you most want to be.
Mm.
And
Awesome.
that doesn't mean avoiding foods. You want to eat.
Right.
You know, it's like the whole goal is to learn how to eat, which is what we teach people, right, Veronica? Is
Yep.
teach them how to eat regular everyday foods so they can lose weight and not feel like they're dieting. Who doesn't want that?
I love that.
That's exciting.
Mm-hmm.
I love that. You know, make sure that if anybody has any questions, feel free to drop them in the comments and we'll get those questions answered. I do have one question here. Is my body becoming more energy efficient, and how can that be measured?
Okay, say that one more time.
Is my body becoming more energy efficient, and how can that be measured?
Your body can be more energy efficient. Okay,
Yeah, they're asking if their body is becoming more energy efficient. How can that be measured? For me, I'm just in my energy.
Yeah, I mean, I don't quite get exactly what they're saying.
Yeah.
I mean, does that mean that I feel better? Is there a way to measure it?
I believe it has to do with metabolism and energy. So they're asking hey Robert, is my body becoming more energy efficient, and how can that be measured?
Yeah, I can't think of anything. I mean, my mind right now just went to, we knew what your body fat percentage was. There's ways where we can kind of see or estimate how many calories you're burning throughout the day, like your total energy expenditure. But that would be a baseline, right? Because maybe you're burning more calories now than you were 6 months ago, but we don't have that baseline from 6 months ago.
Gotcha.
So I would go with what you're saying. I would get the balance test, number one.
Yeah.
Because that's an easy, quick test that anybody can get. And you have some cool markers in there as far as when it comes to inflammation. And then do what is necessary to improve those markers.
Right.
I mean, that's like everybody would benefit from being on balance.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I love it. I have one more question here that has to do with how do leptin and ghrelin change during long-term weight loss?
Wow. Well, leptin, that's looking at fat cells. Ghrelin, that's a hormone that speaks to our hunger cues, right?
I was going to say appetite.
Right. So I know that when you exercise more, you tend to want to eat more, right? So activity and not eating as much can drive a person to want to be hungry. And they may say, my ghrelin's out of control, but that's not it. You've been working out more. You gain skeletal muscle, then that means you're burning more calories. So your body's going to want more energy to consume, right? Which is a sign that you're on fire with your metabolism. And then as you drop body fat, which is a good thing. Then you're starting to alter, hormones like leptin. So dropping body fat, getting on a rhythm where you're consuming food at least 3 meals a day. I'm a big believer in that for a whole bunch of reasons. And for those people who feel the need to, what do you call it? Like intermittent fasting. And I would tell those people, eat breakfast and then skip your meals. Like if you know what I mean? Like don't pass up breakfast, meaning you slept, you woke up, and within, a healthy period of time, hour to 3 hours max, you're eating breakfast. And that breakfast, you want to make sure you have an adequate amount of protein, which will be around 20 grams total. And that will turn on a switch called mTOR, which will help preserve your skeletal muscle. Because if you don't turn on that switch and you wake up and don't eat, you're sacrificing skeletal muscle.
Okay.
And that's not what you want. You don't want to sacrifice skeletal muscle. Because when you do, not only does it slow your metabolism, put you in a worse situation, but it's going to put you in a situation where you're going to age a little bit faster. Because as you lose skeletal muscle, you get like that Ozempic face sometimes.
Yeah.
It can throw a lot of things off, man, when you're losing muscle.
Yeah, that's scary.
Yeah.
You know what? I know we touched slightly on the detox, but what would you say to those people? And I was actually right here. Like when they see detox, they think right away, oh God, I gotta fast. I can't eat. What would you say to them? Because I found out it wasn't.
Yeah, you know what? I have to. I always thank you for asking that question. I love to bring clarity to what a detox literally means. So one of my partners has owned recovery centers for quite a few years. And I've been the nutritionist for these recovery centers. So if somebody's on meth or maybe alcohol, other drugs, they come in and those first 7 days or so, they're in a detox.
Right.
So detox literally means remove yourself from a toxic environment, remove yourself from the negative things that were coming into the body, like the drugs. And that's the detox part, right? And then they give you support. They help you transition. Sometimes they even give you other drugs that help you move into a healthier place. And then you're there for a good period of time, right? Well, if you take that and you think of like our 6-day detox drop, number one is we stop eating the things that are toxic.
Right.
And we start eating the things that will nurture our body's ability to get rid of the things that we don't want in our body. So that's what our detox is, right? Many people will say, you drink this and that's going to flush things. No, it's not. That's not going to flush anything. That's a lie. Right? So, and when you get the gut healthier, like going back to metals, right, and lead and some of these things that are out there, then that helps the kidneys.
Yep.
Because now they don't have to deal with a whole bunch of stuff, right? That helps the liver because the gut will actually begin doing the work if you get everything set up to do what it naturally will do, right? It's kind of like IPA, right? When we do the gut health test, we measure in the blood how much IPA is there, endo-3 propionic acid. Well, your body produces this antioxidant, and it's the most potent antioxidant in the human body.
Right.
And it's produced in the gut. But in order for the gut to produce it, you got to give the gut what it needs.
Right. Amen.
Makes sense.
Absolutely.
Right. And so that's why we have, like, so in the detox drop, you have a meal plan and you have a lot of the foods that you're encouraged to consume. Right. You're consuming those foods because we know that it nurtures what needs to be nurtured so your body can get rid of the things that you don't want in your body.
Gotcha.
Yeah. The only thing that would make our detox even better is if every person had already been on balance oil. Because the cells are going to be more responsive. You have that cell membrane fluidity so that
Mhm.
even something like glutathione can
Yep.
do its job even better. I mean, doing that is helping everything, right? It's helping the mitochondria. It's helping like ATP, adenosine triphosphate. So you think better, you feel better. Like everything just gets better on the cellular level. So,
Wow. I know one comment in here is I wound up in ER on keto with diverticulitis.
oh
Wow.
my goodness.
Wow. That blows my
That
mind.
does happen.
Wow.
So you got to be careful. Like we are designed from birth to eat the 3 macronutrients:
Mm-hmm.
protein, carbohydrates, and fat. We know that because breast milk has protein, carbohydrates, and fat, right? And we know that it nurtures and it is to our benefit. Now, what most people don't know, and it's good to know, is that not all macronutrients are essential,
Mm-hmm.
meaning you don't have to eat all 3 to live, right? 2 of them are essential. So we know that fat is essential. So you must consume certain fats. We know that because of omega-3 and omega-6.
Right.
They're both essential. And fat can be stored inside the body, which is a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
We know that protein is essential. Protein provides us with amino acids. Some are essential, meaning you must consume them because the body won't make them.
Right.
And we need that protein. Now, what surprises people is that carbohydrates are not essential.
Mm.
You don't have to eat carbs in order to live. But when you eat carbs, you can thrive.
Right. Okay.
Right? So, because the gut benefits from carbs, right? So, if I'm eating dietary fiber, I'm getting some prebiotics, I have a more diverse gut, I'm healthier. I mean, that's a win-win. You don't need it, like it's not essential, but we know it's helpful. So, I wouldn't eliminate any food group. It's a matter really of learning how to eat foods in the right combinations
Mm-hmm.
and amounts to get the outcomes that people want.
Right. I agree totally. So, Robert, what else with respect to why weight loss gets harder over time? What else can you add to share with us?
Well, you know, a funny thing to share is that I believe that many people give up before they even start.
Yeah.
I agree.
Right? Because our environments aren't always supportive. So whether it's in a relationship with someone or whether you got someone in the house that's eating all the things that you like, but you're working hard not to eat, but yet you got to smell it and you got to see it. Environment, who you're around, is very challenging sometimes.
Right.
But it can also be very helpful.
Okay. Well, I'm mentioning that. I was watching
Mhm.
Golden Girls yesterday. And again, the 4 episodes that I watched all revolved, 3 of them revolved around the kitchen table with a cheesecake, chocolate cake, or some other horrible, fattening, crazy, wild dessert while they complained about not being able to lose weight as they've gotten older. Yet they're sitting there eating everything that they could find in the middle of the night, and sugar. And I'm going, is this a theme of something going on that goes along with that time that we're traveling through menopause? Or are we reverting back to using sugar and sweets and things like that as comfort foods? Do you have any opinion
Well,
on that, Robert?
okay. If something tastes good, you're probably going to want to eat it, right? Okay. Like I'll never forget learning this one little lesson. And the lesson was you can only crave things that you have had an experience eating. Right?
Interesting.
Now,
I would
as
agree with that.
elementary as that is, think about it. Like, you don't crave things that you've never had an experience with.
So true.
So that being said, then we got to look at, okay, what have I had an experience with? What things continue to show up? And how can I put myself in a convenient position where I'm more likely to eat the things that are going to support me, opposed to eating the things that don't help me? Right? So for me, it's really easy because I'm by myself most of the time.
Right.
And I get to put all the foods in my house that I know support me. I don't go buy ice cream if I'm going to crave it.
Exactly.
Right. And then I buy the things that my kids like when they're with me. But when they're not with me, those things aren't there, because some of the things they like aren't good for me. They won't support the lifestyle that I'm embracing and where I want to go with my health and body.
Right.
So I think a lot of times, and when you have a coach, right? So when I work with people, they have a way better chance of being successful because they have accountability, right? Than to just think you're going to do it on your own. So I think a lot of people go in not wise, and they go in and they like, to do it, to be successful. And they count on willpower and they count on discipline. And that's one of the reasons why Oprah was never successful. Right. And when she had moments of success, it was because she was humble when she did it. She had surrendered. Right. So when she had Bob Greene helping her, then when she first worked with them, when he said, we're going to do this, we're going to do that, she did it because she respected him. And it was part of what was going to make it work. And once he became her friend, it didn't have the same, it didn't have the same pull or push. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I think that cheesecake was a comfort too. I'll tell you what, when I did the detox, I prepared myself. I made sure I had everything that I needed in the house. I trusted the process. I followed through, and I came out good on the other side. 6 days went like that. It was like 24 hours. When you finally get into, knowing exactly what you need to do. And I'm here, just alone with my husband. So I was able to actually put that in order. I mean, my husband's not going to eat what I eat. He thinks that, buying organic, they're just trying to rip you off for money. He's just a meat and potatoes guy, and that's it. He wants all the omega-6s and 3s that he could eat. But I did want to ask also, any mention about the new food pyramid?
You know what? The one thing that I like about the food pyramid is the emphasis on whole foods. There's a lot of things, many things that they didn't do that I thought they were. But the one big win, and I hope everybody realizes this, is that the current, or before they changed the pyramid, the emphasis was mostly on processed foods.
Yeah.
Okay? Case in point. Well, there's two things to know about the food pyramid. Number one, I doubt if anyone on this call, anyone who watches the replay of this, anyone that we meet in the next year goes to the government's website, looks at the food pyramid to get an idea on how to eat. Like, no one does that.
Right.
We have free will. We can go to Weight Watchers. We can go to the Diet Free Life. We can go to Noon. We can go to Jenny Craig. We can do whatever. We can do the keto. We can do all kind of stuff when it comes to nutrition. We don't listen to the food pyramid on how to eat.
Right.
But where the food pyramid comes in is institutionalized nutrition. So what is that? Well, institutionalized meaning wherever the government has precedence. So when it comes to hospitals, the hospitals have to serve food to you based on the food pyramid. Right? So people would say, oh man, the food at the hospital is horrible. Okay, because it didn't have to be whole foods. It could be a brownie, it could be some crackers, it was like, and it was horrible.
Yeah.
Well, now the food pyramid is making it where they're gonna have to focus a little bit more on whole foods instead of processed foods.
That's going to be great.
Right? So when you look at assisted living, when you look at people who, senior citizen homes, all of that is institutionalized nutrition. You go to prison, that's institutionalized nutrition. The school cafeterias, that's institutionalized nutrition. So those things are going to be better because of the pyramid, and that's a win.
Well, thank you so much for sharing all this amazing information. And I'll tell you what, it's always a pleasure to have you here with Renee and I on the Power Hour. And is there anything else that you would like to share with us before we end our podcast?
Well, I would share this, and I was sharing this with some people the end of last year, and it was a question that I asked myself. I said, if not now, when? As it pertains to fitness, as it pertains to losing weight. If not now, when? Because January is about to be gone. It'll be Christmas again, right? So I'm sharing this with everybody because of something that just happened to me a few days ago that made my week really stressful. And that is one of my clients who I've known since 2002 died. And I coach her, and I hadn't coached her this year yet. The last time I coached her, I looked was December 7th or 8th of 2025. And I go on Facebook, which I've seen this way too many times, and I see rest in peace. Oh. And I'm like, are you kidding me? And so I quickly just looked, and I was like, whoa, wow. And I pulled up her file, and I was just blown away. And that part is sad, but here's what I want everybody to get. In 2002, when I was coaching, 2022, when I was coaching her, she would wake up and her blood sugar, actually it was 2021. Her blood sugar be like 200, 240, 230. And so I'm coaching her, and I get her blood sugar down to like 99. The weight was coming off. Everything was working. And then she snapped. She just started eating all the things that weren't helping her. She was babysitting a lot, so she had the kids. They didn't want to eat what she was eating. She wasn't getting the support from her husband when it came to the food. Like her entire influence of people around her were not helping. Yeah. And so I coached her on and off. We never got those results ever again. And what happens when your blood sugar is out of control like that? Well, she started losing her eyesight. She started getting neuropathy. And this is a woman in her 60s.
Wow.
So her final months were just horrible. And the decline went really fast. And so fast that, when I talked to her last month, I was just trying to, keep her focused. I mean, she was on the balance. So she didn't completely give up, but she gave up. You know what I mean? So for those of you who are thinking about doing something, contact these ladies, contact me, do it. Do not put off until tomorrow what you can do today.
Do today.
Absolutely.
Amen.
So those are my final words.
And we love them. It's amazing. Such amazing information that you always pass along to us. And it's really great that, that we have you to join us, and, we have access to you. And I'll tell you what, if you're looking to do that detox, that 6-day detox, do it. We have an 8-week challenge coming up. Looking forward to that. Do you want to say anything about that, Robert?
Well, you know what? The 8-week fat loss challenge, I do it every January. This year, I can tell you that it's different in a big way. Because I have a new book coming out later this year. And a lot of what I'm going to have in that book, I'm going to teach in this 8-week fat loss challenge.
Oh, nice. Now, will that be live?
When you say live,
maybe your first session before you start this, will that be a live or a video? That's
I was thinking about doing that because sometimes I do a video, maybe before this week, because we start next Monday.
Yep.
A week from today is the kickoff. Now, a person can do the challenge anytime they want after we start, but we will have a good amount of people doing it at the same time, which is always fun. And I'm gonna have some veterans, people who have done the challenge like many years in a row, and they're gonna learn some stuff that's gonna be great. And coaches like yourself, it's gonna be good for all the coaches because I'm gonna be taking the fat burning meals to a whole nother level.
Oh, nice. Nice.
Yes.
Super excited.
Like very exciting. Like, I mean, there's some cool stuff. Like, I'm actually working on something right now, and I gotta figure out how I'm gonna word this. And I'm looking right now because I would, so we teach something for those of you who are new to that. We teach something called fat burning meals. And so we teach people how to pair foods together so that they can optimize their ability to lose weight. Right. So you're eating regular food to lose weight. Well, fast forward, we are living in a time when many people have insulin resistance, which means losing weight is going to be harder. Right. So we didn't go into great detail on that. We talked about skeletal muscle. I touched on insulin resistance. It's real. I mean, Tufts University, they came out with a major study report that was clear that 93% of all adults are living with some level of insulin resistance. When you have insulin resistance, that means the cells are not responding the way they once responded.
Right.
And a big part of that means you have elevated insulin, and insulin is almost like a blocker. It blocks you from being able to lose weight. Right. And so the goal is, how do we help those people? How do we eat in a way where you can maximize when you know a person's living with insulin resistance?
Yeah.
So even in the challenge, I'm going to show people how to figure out what level of insulin resistance do you have? And then based on where you are with that, here's a slight tweak to how you make your fat burning meals so that we can get the weight off, even though you have insulin resistance, and then put you in a position where we can reverse insulin resistance when that's possible.
Awesome.
And it's possible for a lot of people. Many people just don't know how to do it, but I'm telling you, we're going to have some fun with this one.
All right.
Awesome.
I'm looking forward to that.
Amen.
That is fabulous. Thank you so much, Robert, again for joining us today. And we welcome everybody back, same time, same place next week. And in the meantime, we'll be seeing you on some upcoming lives.
Yes,
Veronica
absolutely.
closes out. Yay.
All right. Make sure you like, share, follow, and subscribe on our new YouTube channel. And I'm just looking forward to seeing everybody a lot more coming up. With that being said, good night to everybody. Thank you again and have a great evening.
Bye-bye.